Hello everybody, and here is my astrological predictions for the month of December 2016, the end of the year. And of course everybody always wants to know how it's going to be for Christmas. Pretty similar to the last 4 Christmases actually. So if that's anything to go by, then there you are. Now, December in general. This is one of the most exciting months that I have seen for a long while. Now imagine that. We've got to the end of the year, we're all fed up, we've had a bad year. Let's face it, it's not been a great year. And then suddenly out of the hat, we get this, the most exciting, the most powerful month of the year. Yeah, absolutely we do. And December is not normally a month in which you would say that. If in America you go from Thanksgiving to December, kind of like in a more of a holiday mood than you do a business-like, aggressive, dynamic mood. But anyway, so let's just break a few things down and have a look at what we've got. Okay. Well, the first thing to talk about, I suppose, is the fact that the sun is in Sagittarius for most of it, and this is quite an important thing for this time of the year. I always think it's interesting that we're in a fire sign, the highest fire sign, for that all-important run-up to Christmas, when all the office parties and all the excitement and jumping on the karaoke and going wild in the shops, spending money on Christmas presents. I always think it's quite interesting that we get the sun in Sagittarius for that, and then 4 days before Christmas, boom, the sun moves into Capricorn and it goes dump down, and we get, well, more hard work, basically, and a quieter, less effervescent time, really. But what's the sun in Sagittarius all about, hey? You can read all the usual stuff on the internet about Sagittarius shooting an arrow, going after it, traveling, always very bubbly and courageous and risk-taking. Okay, that's fair enough. But what's the deeper meaning of Sagittarius? What's the esoteric, sacred meaning at the very heart of Sagittarius? What is there for all of us when we are in this energy, when the sun is in this energy at this time of the year? And we have to understand that the Sagittarian energy, as a zodiac sign, as an energy, is available for all of us all of the time. We do have it in our chart. When you were born, Sagittarius was somewhere. And so we all have it to a greater or lesser degree. So the cosmos, every day of the year, has a little bit of Sagittarius somewhere. It's exaggerated now. And we have a little bit or a greater bit of Sagittarius somewhere. It's exaggerated now. But it's a cosmic energy that exists and is part of the overall cake that we live in, the overall cosmic soup that we live in. So what's at the heart of it? What's at the very center of it? What does it mean? What can we reach in for? And I think what it provides in an esoteric sense is confidence, literally confidence and self-belief. Fire is all about a sense of feeling special and feeling magical and feeling powerful and feeling courageous. This is the highest fire sign. So this is the most self-belief and the most powerful conviction about me that we can achieve. It's a me thing. It's about feeling powerful and strong, as if we are Zeus sitting on Olympus, the king of the gods. We need to be able to reach into that powerful sense of Zeus and expand with it and feel proud of it and use it. The problem is that, of course, in centuries gone by, it was not considered good to be expansive and to be arrogant, if you like, or to own one's power. It was considered more pious to be humble and to be diffident. But that doesn't work for me in astrology. Why have we got Sagittarius if it's not there to be used by us? We have to enjoy and expand into all the energies. That's what they're there for. So with Sagittarius, what we have is a feeling that we are incredibly special. And what we need to access is our sense of divinity, the royal sense that lives within, the fact that we have royal blood, the fact that we are magnificent. And I was interested in noting that the most successful people, both in theatre, stage, performance, and business, are the ones that believe that they are here because God willed it. They believe that God is on their side. They believe that God wants them to be great, wants them to be magnificent. And that's interesting for me, because that says that when we access that sense of divinity as if we have an ally here, we have a divine comforting part of us, then we can believe that we should be magnificent, and that's when we achieve our most magnificent stuff. And so it's about really allowing us to do that. We have to allow us to do that. We have to say, do you know what? I think I am great, and I think I can be magnificent, and I think I can be enormously powerful. And it's about allowing us. Often we are our own worst enemy. But anyway, in the month we've got ahead of us in December, we have quite a bit of Sagittarian influence in the sky, because the ruler of Sagittarius is also getting busy. And so there's a lot we can access in terms of growing. The growth potential is enormous. If you imagine a continuum, a straight line, where you've got Earth on one side, which can be a little bit depressing and cold, and a little bit retentive, and a little bit placid, a little bit dormant. And then on the other side, you've got this very excitable fire, all kind of chaotic and courageous and rushing around. We're always on that line somewhere or other. Where are we on that scale? Not a continuum, a scale, sorry. Where are we on that scale? Well, we want to be kind of in the middle, sort of. We never want to be too much towards the earth or too much towards the fire. But at the moment, we are in the fire end, this end. We're in the fire end, which is either end. I can't remember which one I said before. Hey, who cares? So anyway, we need to be more in the fire end, and we are more in the fire end, and we can access more of this self-belief and this courage. So that's what we're getting really this month in terms of fire energy. But we also have a couple of other things going on this month, which are worth mentioning. Our old friend, the Uranus-Pluto square, is highly in action. And so there is a lot there that we can bring into our power and our control, and we can use so that we can have a very powerful and expansive month ourselves. So I'll just remind you that the Uranus-Pluto square kicked off in 2012. And it's largely responsible for such things as the Arab Spring, and all the wars and disruption and social upheaval that have been going on around the planet. It's also responsible for the massive growth of technology and data, information technology. All of this has been at a hugely rapid rate. Before 2012, but more so since 2012. We are accelerating at a tremendous pace. And so we can expect for the month of December, as this Uranus-Pluto square gets activated again, we can expect huge growth again in things like data and our information technology, etc. But also, I think we are liable to suffer from cyber attacks, because as the good guys get good and expansive and grow, and they're ingenious and they're inventive and they discover more and invent more, so too do the bad guys, and so they become more ingenious and clever, and so cyber attacks become an issue. One of the other issues of Uranus-Pluto has been financial security, and so it's not surprising that, for instance, just this morning, and this is the day before December the 1st, we heard on our news that one of our big banks had failed the stress test, which had been put in place by the Bank of England to make sure that banks could survive another financial crisis. So I imagine that we are looking at issues to do with that. Now, it may be that we're looking at issues to do with success of the management of that. So we may be looking at banks who have achieved a status where they are no longer a liability, or it may be that upon testing, we find out, as we did with the Royal Bank of Scotland, that again it stands to fail, that it is not robust and it hasn't achieved what it was supposed to achieve. So we've got all of that in place, and then we've got something called Jupiter getting into a square with Pluto, which will happen. We've just had one hit, and that will happen twice next year as well in 2017. Now, Jupiter's actually getting into the Uranus-Pluto square, but Jupiter and Pluto have got a relationship on their own anyway, just leaving Uranus out of this for a moment, because they go on to have more interaction later next year. So I just want to kind of highlight what these two represent, and just sort of like give a description of what we can expect. And basically what we're looking at is unprecedented massive expansion, the ability to expand way beyond anything that we could imagine, really. We know that America is set for a huge expansion, building, infrastructure, planning thing, because the President-elect Donald Trump has said so. And we know that the UK has plans for growth as much as possible as it exits the European Union. We should see a lot of stuff coming out about that. We should see a lot of movement, because there are going to be 2 more hits of the Pluto-Jupiter square. I can't remember, something like March and September next year. It's spread out over the year anyway. We're really looking at the plans that will achieve fulfillment next year. So there isn't any really let up of the fast pace that we've had recently. That fast pace keeps going on right into 2017. But looking at December, when I would have expected it to kind of lull a bit, because let's face it, we have been in remarkable times just recently, myself included. I don't see any lull. I see absolutely tremendous potential for huge growth. Now, the fact is that we could be trapped in the office parties or in the sort of the family expectation stuff, and miss out on a lot of the potential that this month has. If we're not kind of like really going at it and trying to grow our businesses and develop our core economic stuff, or develop our ideas and get our master plan underway, get that book off the ground and all the rest of it. If we're kind of just doing the seasonal festive thing, then we're missing something magnificent. And so what I would suggest you do is, if at all possible, get on with your growth plans despite the season. See what you can achieve, because it's like being plugged into a nuclear power station at the moment. There is so much potential available to us. It's crazy how much there is. So it would be a shame to waste it. The other thing is, if we don't use it productively, it reroutes and becomes a mischief, and then explodes in a massive row in the office party, for instance, when the secretary is found in the broom cupboard with the caretaker or what have you. And that's what can happen if this energy isn't controlled. It overinflates and it busts things wide apart. We really do need to be mindful of keeping it under our control as much as possible, but providing it a channel. We can't expect not to have movement. There will be movement, there will be growth. What you're in control of is what that growth is about, what it's in. And that's the bit that you need to be mindful of. So you want to be directing it into your new book or your new business venture or your whatever it is you want to do, rather than just expecting not to have anything happen, and then the cosmos will make the decision for you about where it wants to be, and the next thing you know is you've got the most surprising thing in the world just happened. It would have been better if you'd have given it some thought and some direction, if you'd have focused your mind on your wish list and on your cosmic ordering. My goodness, you can really achieve some mega stuff with cosmic ordering this month. It really is. Keep your mind on it the whole time. Keep thinking about what you want to manifest. And honestly, I think you'll manifest it immediately. It'll just come in straight away. It's that powerful. There's one last thing I want to say about December, and that is, it's a month in which you need to check that you're right. I think it's very important to be mindful of the fact that there is a symbol around that if you're wrong, if you're doing the Jupiter expansion and you haven't checked your facts and you're wrong, then you'll be called to book. You will get a correcting thing coming in. Make sure you're right first. It's important, I think, to do that. But aside from that, excuse me, winter bugs. Aside from that, we're in for a hell of a month. So take off your party hat, get out your devices and start working. This is a month when Santa Claus could come early in terms of what the cosmos is prepared to deliver to those who are working to receive it. Okay, there we go. Have a fantastic Christmas, and I'm going to speak to you next year. That always feels funny saying that at this time of the year. I hope you all have a fabulous festive season. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.